and welcome back to the Collection Connection. And this week we're going to be talking about the relationship with your sales team. So, I decided to do this video because I, of course, been doing collections for a long time, and I love what I do. But there is sometimes a disconnect with your sales team. Why? Because your sales team is mostly focused on, for the most part, sales. They want to generate that revenue, they want to get that business in, and for the most part, they're usually the ones that are like working really on the commissions. The sales, that's usually their main focus. So what happens is usually when they close the deal, as far as getting that sale in, they got their commission, they're like, hey, I'm good. But then they are not actually necessarily involved with the collecting part unless it's a cash upfront deal. They're usually not too concerned with once they get their commissions about the actual accounts receivable side of things. So I wanted to talk about that because I wanted to share that it is very important that you have a good relationship with your sales team. It can be a very frustrating thing because one, they don't necessarily understand your side of the business because one, they're sales, and two, sometimes they might just internalize their own financial issues. Not saying that's across the board by any means, but sometimes the word collections, even if you're actually working with a company that they have their accounts receivables and they're the ones that are collecting the money, they might still internalize those issues that they have with you're calling my customer, you're antagonizing my customer, you're bothering my customer because they need to get paid. Well, yes, hello, yes. We do have to actually contact your customer because they owe us money. Thank you for closing the deal. Thank you for bringing in more revenue to the company. Thank you for, making this company better. But there has to be a relationship and understanding that we are not trying to hurt your business or hurt your sales by telling the customer that they have to pay us. And so that can sometimes be a misguided communication. It's very important that you learn how to maintain a relationship. If you're a collections focused team member or collections manager, that you also have a good relationship with your sales team because they can help you. When push comes to shove, they can actually help you get in contact with the right person that can actually help get an invoice paid or get a statement paid. I've had my internal sales teams that there was some major pushback. Yeah. Again, they might be offended that I'm calling the customer, even though they might be outside of the scope of terms. Maybe they were supposed to pay the invoice within 30 days, and the customer, was like, well, I'll pay it 90 days. Okay. And sometimes the sales rep or whoever might just be like, well, give them the 90 days. No, that's not how that works. So it's good to build a rapport with your sales team sooner than later. I will say that, sooner than later. Sometimes there might already be some kind of bad blood or stressful relationship, maybe prior to even coming onto a company or starting your business. Maybe the previous the rep that you bring on already has a preconceived notion of the collections or accounts receivables. It's okay for you to re-identify and change how that relationship can go. If you don't speak up, if you don't initiate communication with your sales team, it can go from bad to worse. It really can. So my goal and what I've done with the sales team members that I've worked with is to start one with the sales managers. If there's, maybe you have a chief marketing officer, or maybe you just have 2 or 3 sales managers. It just all depends on the company. That you start that conversation with them sooner than later. One part of the conversation can be with not just the sales reps or whatever, whoever is the highest up, to have that conversation with them to say, My goal is not to ruin sales. My goal is not to ruin the revenue or whatever. It's not to ruin the goals of the team or of your reps. That is not my intention. But if the customer is not paying, I need your help also. I need for you to have my back. So maybe the sales team has just a hot customer. They're ready, and they have this customer that's ready to spend $100,000 on some product or services that we're offering, but the customer owes us $40,000, and maybe they're like 30 or I don't know 60 days past due on a particular invoice. Same customer. We've had those experiences, and if you haven't had it, you will, where the rep is like, well, it's $40,000. They'll get that paid. Let's just close this deal for this $60,000. It's $100,000. So here's the deal. If the customer is not paying us for this $40,000, and maybe it's already 60 days past due, there might be a chance that they're not going to pay us the $100,000. So do we really want to be out of maybe $140,000 versus the $40,000 right now? No. So although with all the best intentions, even the sales team is they want to get the sales, but it's also their business to protect the company. But they may not necessarily see it that way when they're trying to close a deal and get their commissions. My job as the collections manager, or if you have a collections rep or whoever whoever represents your company on the receivable side, that is their duty to protect your company from the risk of more bad debt. That is what we do. So you might have to have maybe some reps or sales managers upset with you because we wouldn't allow a particular deal to close that would increase their sales commissions because there's maybe an outstanding invoice for, say, $40,000. You want to have that relationship with your sales team where they already know, well, we're not going to be able to close this deal because maybe your account is already on hold because you haven't paid this $40,000 invoice. So therefore, they are already encouraged to reach out to the customer to say, hey, we want to do business with you, but you owe us money. So my AR supervisor or collection supervisor or manager is saying we can't close this deal until we get specific payment information on this outstanding $40,000. Okay? This is what we call teamwork. Teamwork, yes, and it can work. Initially, yes, maybe your sales team might be a little upset with you because you're blocking them. They're like, I want to get my commissions. I want to close this deal. I want to get this sale done because that's my commission. That's my money. But the bottom line is this: my job as a accounts receivable, collections manager, whatever it is, and for my team's job is we are protecting the company from higher bad debt risk. That is the bottom line. So if you have if your customer has outstanding invoices and they're not responding, and we've tried all these other avenues, and maybe we haven't actually sent them to a collection agency, or maybe we have, it is up to you to have that relationship with your sales team that can actually put you in contact with the right person that can help you get that outstanding balance received, reconciled, paid, and then they can go ahead and close their deal. But even more importantly, well, I don't want to say even more importantly. Yeah, that's a word. Start building that relationship with your sales team now. Get to know your sales team. Talk to them. I literally make it a point, because right now at my current company we have different business lines. For every manager that's in charge of a certain business line, once a month we have conversations. We have meetings and we have conversations about any possible problem accounts that we need to discuss that needs to be on their radar. So they'll know, like, not only, please don't be surprised if I put them on hold, or if I'm, not extending a line of credit, or if I put them on some kind of product hold because they have not actually paid this outstanding balance. I literally have a meeting with my sales teams for different product lines, or even for your one product line, once a month so they can be on the radar. I send them an aging once a month. Now, they may not understand everything about agings and they may not even care anything about agings, but I'm sending them this information once a month so that they will be very well aware, like, these are some possible problem accounts that may cause you issues later on, and I just want you to be aware. I want you to be aware, and I want you to possibly, if one of my team members or if I asked you to take action to help resolve this issue, I need you to be involved, because the reality is this: sales does not stop once the deal is closed. That is not how it works if they get paid commissions ahead of time. Now, there are some companies that will pay a sales team their commissions and then just say, like, oh, don't bother them, they're busy making new sales. Not good business. Just, I don't know the full functionalities of all companies and how everything works, but I can guarantee you this: if you are not holding your sales team accountable, okay, for outstanding invoices or, balances due, and you've already paid them a commission, they seem to care a little bit less. What can make a sales rep or manager more concerned is if you are actually pulling back their commissions or deducting their commissions off of their upcoming commissions or paychecks. That will get the sales team concerned. But I also always let my sales team know that that is not my intention. This is not something that I want to do. But if we need your help with getting in contact with the correct person after we have done all of our due diligence to get payment, if myself or one of my team members reaches out to the sales team and says, hey, we haven't gotten payment yet, and we are about to escalate this to our attorney or to our collection agency, that doesn't seem to always get the attention more than we're about to pull back your commission. That will get their attention. It's unfortunate, but it's true. But one of the things that actually helps is my dog. One of the things that usually helps is if I've already built up this relationship with the sales managers or the general managers, whoever that are in charge of the sales and marketing, if I already have a communication with them and we already have a weekly meeting, maybe a monthly meeting with the sales teams based on whatever product line or whatever it is, or the sales team as a whole, or if I'm sending an aging to the sales team once a month, showing them, hey, this is what is still outstanding. These are issues that we're concerned about. We might need your help on these to get them reconciled and get the customer to actually release payment. That will get their attention more than anything. There are some companies that don't pay commission to the sales team until after payment is received. There are some companies that actually pay the commissions right away. However your company wants to work, that's fine. But it is very, very important that as on the collections team and the sales team, they work together, they kind of coexist, they are there to help each other and not be pitted against each other. And it's just very important that you let your sales team know that you are there to support them, because your ultimate goal is to get the invoice paid. And if the customer is non-reactive, or if the customer just doesn't seem to care, or if there's an actual billing dispute that needs to be addressed and resolved, maybe the customer doesn't owe the actual invoice and they need to actually get it off the books to do a revenue reversal, whatever it is. It's just very important that you have that good communication with your sales team sooner than later. It is so much better to have to be maintaining that relationship than to just come across as the aggressive collections or accounts receivable department. It's just very helpful. I value the time that I get with my sales teams once a month, where I can sit down with them and say, okay, here is the aging. Here is everything bucket by bucket that shows everything that's outstanding. Here's stuff that's over 30 days. Here's the customer's response. Here's stuff that's over 90 days. Here's the stuff that's pending legal escalation. Here's the stuff that's actually about to go to the collection agency. And once you go to a collection agency or to our legal representative, the rep is not allowed to actually talk to that customer anymore. That's another conversation we'll have later on. Don't worry about it. I'll catch you up. But the bottom line is this: I want to make sure that you value and appreciate your sales marketing team. It is very important that it is not just a separate thing where, it's like, oh, they do the sales and we do the collections, and never are the two to actually meet in between and be cohesive. It is very important that you build and maintain the relationship with your sales and marketing team, because between the two of you, it's a great success. It can be a wonderful thing, and you can knock down the stereotypes that each maybe department might have, because there are stereotypes when it comes to sales and marketing. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Knock down those stereotypes that the collections, accounts receivable are just this team that's harassing your customers, and knock down the stereotype that sales is just in it to get their commissions and they really don't care whether or not the money is collected for the company. Very important. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just a great communication gap that in a lot of companies, there's just that distance. There is such a distance, and I guess assumptions when it comes to these different departments and what they do. And you can work cohesively with your team and just really get things resolved, as far as if there is a dispute, if there is, lack of communication, if there is maybe a wrong contact, if you need to find out where a purchase order or a contract is, or whoever the sales rep was initially talking to, that maybe you have the wrong contact. Build that communication. Keep it ongoing. It will help you so much in the end, from the beginning to the end. Okay? So anyways, guys, thank you for your time. I really do enjoy doing these videos. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, or if you have a different process that I don't know about, because every collection process is not the same. I have the basic information that I'm sharing from my experience. But if you have a different collection process, or your business or your company is doing something completely different, if you have questions, please let me know. All right? Talk to you later. Or if there's an actual billing, dispute that